That nightmare sound. Celeste was surprised to see a ship pop up on their screens. Their intel had said that this sector had no enemy ships and was largely ignored by all parties in the conflict. That is until Eshar High Command decided that an ignored sector was the perfect place for an exploratory military expedition. Celeste wasn't sure who had that brilliant idea. The system was boring. There was a reason no one paid any attention to it. No raw materials that weren't in abundance elsewhere, no strategic value, no sapient life forms, only one planet with a bit of algae goo. Still, Eshar had sent 3 cruisers to explore the system and assess whether they should build a base here. Maybe a secret research base? A few hours after their jump, that ship popped up on their screens. From the readout, it was clear that the ship had seen them and was headed their way at top speed. "What kind of ship are we looking at, Lieutenant?" Celeste asked their sensor tech. After studying the readouts for a moment, Lieutenant Sarwin replied, "Human, putting out quite a heat signature for its size, as it's smaller than any of our ships." "Ha! That heat signature is probably because those backwards apes are still using 50-year-old designs." Celeste clicked their mandibles, laughing. The rest of the bridge crew joined in. Humans had only been on the intergalactic scene for a few generations, but they had never lost their unofficial status as something of a joke. "Which of our ships is best positioned to intercept?" Celeste asked their navigator. After a quick readout of the telemetries, the navigator reported that their own ship was best suited to intercept. "All right, move us into position. Ready the long lance." The human ship continued its direct approach at high speed. As it got closer, the sensor tech was able to discern more of the ship. "It's quite small. Their shields are at full power, and it appears they have slapped various weapons pods onto the outer hull." Their tech ended incredulously. Everyone on the bridge laughed again. "Ship in range within 3 minutes!" Celeste waited impatiently. The humans had to see that they were outgunned by merely one of their ships, let alone 3. In spite of their dumpy old rust bucket of a ship, Celeste was a little bit nervous, as they always were before an engagement. Anything could happen, especially the unexpected. Plans never worked flawlessly. "Inform the other 2 cruisers to take up supporting positions," Celeste told their communications officer. The officer raised their eyelid in surprise, yet did as they were told. 2 flashes, brighter than any sun, lit up the view screen. The cruiser shook from one side to the next. Red lights flashed in alarm. Everything turned from one moment to the next to chaos. "Fire! What happened? Report!" Celeste shouted in a panic. "The human ship appears to have fired 2 long-range energy weapons," the sensor tech shouted. "Our main cannons have been knocked offline, but our secondary array is engaging." At that moment, a sound started and grew louder and louder until it became a shriek. More red lights flashed. Explosions from the hull crowded the view screen. Electric arrays in the bridge blew. Celeste's second-in-command punched the button for the escape pod on the captain's chair. As Celeste was wrapped into the escape cocoon, the tumult of the bridge receded. But that horrible, dreadful noise that Celeste had heard was still there, in the background. They knew it would haunt their nightmares. Brrrr.